You know, just keep it recording. Why not? We'll be jazzy with it. I've been watching my tutorials before. You guys know. What is up, PK fam? And a couple of weeks ago, I asked you guys if you guys wanted a full down tutorial or a twisting tutorial, and you guys chose twisting, so that is what we're gonna teach today. Today we're going to be focusing on single twisting as well as double twisting and techniques for both, as well as common things that people do wrong and how to correct it. So obviously this is going to be a little bit different than my usual tutorials because there isn't like a one single technique for all twisting. They're just like tiny tips I can give you here and there that can help speed up the process to learn those. So without further ado, let's get to it. So the first and most important and honestly most time-consuming move, tip I have for you for learning twisting is learning the progressions. So progressions, for those of you that don't know, are baby steps. So learning, for example, if you're gonna try to learn a back full, you gotta do the progressions, the baby steps, so all the moves before that. Obviously, you shouldn't try to learn a backflip 360 before a back. Anyway, the progressions for back full again is a backflip, just like this. So a backflip, and then a backflip with a half twist and a Arabian, which is that. And then after you learn those two moves, you can get them pretty comfortable, pretty consistent, then start working up to the back full. So for those of you that have watched my tutorials before, you guys know that I consider there being kind of like two different categories of progressions. There's the progressions that I just talked about, which is learning all of the baby moves before the move that you actually want to learn. And then there's the other progressions, which is adjusting your environment. So obviously, like if you want to learn a backflip, progressions for that is like doing a backflip into a pool, doing a backflip onto a trampoline, doing a backflip into sand, and then grass, and then concrete eventually. Twisting moves is probably the one type of move that I get injured on most, so not double flips, honestly, because I don't do double flips, but yes, twisting moves, because I screw up my ankle a lot when I'm doing these moves. But anyway, that's why I highly encourage you guys to adjust your environment. So that's our progression. So go into a pool, go into sand, go into a trampoline, go into grass, all that good jazz, before you take it onto harder ground where you could really injure yourself. So that was very general kind of tips, so progressions. That was a very general tip for twisting. Now we're gonna get into a very specific tip for twisting, which is don't stare at the ground as you're doing the full twist. Now, if you've done all the progressions, so we're gonna go again with the example of a back full. If you've done a backflip and you've done an Arabian, then you're probably going to have the habit of staring at the ground as you do your full twist. And that's gonna kill your height, it's gonna kill the speed of your twist and the speed of your flip. So that looks like this, and this was honestly a common problem that I had when I started doing these, which is why it took me forever to learn these. So look at my head, and I'm just gonna be staring at the ground the whole time. So they looked like that for like almost a year, and it was really annoying. And then I figured out what I was doing wrong, and then I fixed it. And obviously the way to fix this is just to keep on looking at whichever way you're gonna twist. You gotta keep on looking over that left shoulder until like you do the full twist. I wait until I finish the twist, then try to spot the ground. So just like that. And of course, this doesn't just go for fulls. This actually goes for every twist. Always try to make sure that for every twisting move, always try to make sure that you finish the twist, then spot the ground. I guess on a trampoline, it's okay to spot the ground the whole time on a full because you have a ton of height, and you don't really need to worry about the height or the flip and the twist since you're on a trampoline, but it's a bad habit to take off of a trampoline. So try to get used to just keep on looking until you finish the twist to spot the ground. Okay, the last tip I have for single twisting and kind of twisting overall, but specifically single twisting, is to make sure that you get enough flip and twist, preferably at the same time. I would say get height, flip, and twist, but height you just need to get on every move, not just twisting moves. Yeah. So what I mean by this is make sure that you try to flip and twist at the same time. Now this can be sort of hard, but for single twisting specifically, you will need to get used to that. I see a lot of people doing the twist super early just because they're scared. When you're scared, you try to finish all the parts of the move as fast as possible. So try to make sure that you do the flip and the twist. A really good way of doing this is honestly practicing full down technique. Now, not thinking of it as specifically doing a full down, but just do a backflip and then just try twisting to the side as much as you can. So just like this. So a backflip and then just twisting as much as you can. You won't land it, but it will get you used to not twisting like as you're taking off. So we're now gonna be moving on to specific double twisting technique and tips, but you guys may notice that I didn't give you like any specific tips on how to use your arms or how to do any really specific like techniques with your body. Now this is because this is a general twisting tutorial, as I've said before, not just specifically like a Backfull tutorial or anything like that. If you want a Backfull tutorial or a curve tutorial or something like that, or a front half tutorial, watch all of those tutorials. They'll be linked in the description below. Shameless plugs! Okay, so we're now just gonna jump into learning double twists. So before you even try a double twist, a good way to check if you have enough height is to just do one single twist of the move and then just stay tucked instead of reaching your feet to the ground and see how much more twist you can get. Again, you don't need to just do a scoot full and then try to do a whole nother full afterward. Just do like a full and a half and then a full and 3/4 and then try to make it fully around. Once you've made it fully around to 2 complete twists, then that means you probably have the height for a double full. But again, there's a lot more that goes into double twisting technique than just having enough height for it. So now let's get into specific double twisting techniques. The thing that makes double twisting techniques different is when and how you get the flip and twist. Well, more of when you do the flip and twist. So the most common twisting technique for at least double twist is getting all of the twist and then doing the flip at the very end. I honestly don't like the way this looks because it looks really cheated, but for the most part, that is how it's done. And actually, here are a couple examples of that double twisting technique that I'm talking about. And then there's kind of the opposite technique, which is doing most of the flip and then most of the twist at the end. So flip then twist instead of twist then flip. This is probably honestly one of the hardest ways to learn double twisting, but it'll make sure that you can go straight over if you don't know how to flip and twist at the same time. But anyway, here are a couple examples of this specific twisting technique, which is late twisting.
Oh! Yes.
Okay, and essentially how you do this specific double twisting technique is, we're gonna use a double full as the example. You're gonna do your scoots. You're literally gonna kind of think about doing an Arabian, so literally tucking into an Arabian and then doing 90% of the flip, and then once you've done most of that flip, straightening out and then just pulling to the side to straighten that twist. So like you're literally tucked and then you pull to the side for that twist. And that usually gives you a really poppy and fast twist. Again, but it also takes a ton of timing, so it'll definitely take practice if you decide to learn this way. And finally, the last kind of twisting technique, which is just doing the flip and twist at the same time. Now, some people can do this super easily. That's honestly the way that people get like round off, like quad twists, which is freaking crazy, but that's the thing about this twisting technique. You need a ton of height to be able to do these correctly. You need like a power setup usually. So a round off, for example. And again, here are some examples of this twisting technique. Flipping and twisting at the same time. I actually forgot to give you guys tips specifically for double twisting, so here are those. First tip is that the tighter your body is, the faster you will spin. So make sure to squeeze your butt really tight and try to keep your feet right next to each other rather than kind of flailing around. This next tip kind of goes hand in hand with the previous tip. This next tip is not to tuck. So again, you should be thinking about trying to be a pencil, so having your whole body straight and really tight. You should not be trying to bend your legs or tucking like that, because that will give you a very fast flip, but it will not give you a very fast twist. Tip number 3 is to have your arms really crunched up against your chest. This will make sure that your arms and upper body is really tight, which will speed up your twist even more. My final and most important tip is the thing that I've been saying with all of these tips. Keep your body tight. If you start arching your back or anything along those lines, whether it be arching your back or legs or keeping your arms loose, that means you're gonna have a slower flip and twist. So remember, think about really trying to tighten up and pretend like you're a pencil when you want to initiate the twist. Also, as an ending note, I realized that I don't keep my arms as close to my body as I could, and my legs aren't as close together or as tight as they could, which I'm still obviously working on. But anyway, that is all the tips and techniques I have to teach you guys today for twisting. If I left anything out, please comment it below and help out the PK fam with your knowledge. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video and it helped you, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell button. You should also ring the notification bell button because my next video will be a vlog of something. It will be a vlog, it'll be dope, it'll be lit. I'll see you in the next one. PK person out. Wow! Twist for the full, where you just have to keep on looking. Emma, shut up. Okay, last tip I have for... We're gonna just record you. This dude! Screwing up my videos!